So anyway, Joel won't be here today, or else he might pop in to listen. But it's going to be me. I'm I'm filling in some big shoes. I'm
You are
scared.
always a co-host.
Maybe, but like he took the lead, and I prefer
You'll
that.
be okay.
I'm scared.
No, you'll be okay.
Although it'd be kind of nice if it's just the three of us, and because I know you guys.
Yeah.
Although I want the channel to grow. I want more people to come. So by chance, do either of you guys have anything that you want to discuss or submit or anything?
Nothing at the moment, but I'm considering making a novel now. Because, that's what I did originally. I would like to make one. I feel like I got stuff in my head. But what, Dan?
I've got some characters that I've mentioned before that do have physical limitations.
Okay.
I just want them to, but they're. I'm just not sure I just don't know. I feel like people might look at it and say, oh, this is an extraneous character attribute that just feels thrown in. Oh, your character had her arm blown off and she still acts like she has both arms because she has a mechanical arm. I don't want the characters to seem like she's just.
Well, people got prosthetics.
That's actually part of what the workshop is for. To find that balance. To find the balance between enough to show that it is actually a disability or it is a problem, but at the same time to write them well and as a person.
Gotcha. I just want to make sure it is. I was thinking of a subplot where, well, since this is a super futuristic world, people can pretty much create all the prosthetic body parts mechanical, usually, well, yeah, pretty much, usually some sort of, or cyber technology type thing, nanotech, whatever, to have this sort of thing. In fact, when this character joins the heroes, she just becomes there's this news reporter who becomes enamored with her, which puts her in dangerous terms because she's the kind of person who's like, I want to report on this story. No, you're not supposed to report on this story because that is the stuff. That's the stuff that people are not supposed to talk about or question. And I don't know, she gets threatened by a villain character that they're going to do some horrible things. I'm really not sure. I haven't thought that far ahead. That's really just in the ideas phase. Honestly, one is sort of like a secondary character. The other is like a very, very tertiary. What is quaternary? That's past tertiary? I don't know.
I have no idea what.
Yeah, I'm not even sure either. I'm still very idea stage in a script that's kind of taking a back burner right now.
All right.
That's where I stand with all this, I guess. She's the lady that you've seen this character before in my works. She's the giraffe lady who lost her arm and child in an explosion.
Yes, yes. I do remember her. Joe,
Yeah, she's got a lot of well, I guess PTSD type things, but it's not because of the arm loss. If anything, her problems are everything else that also went wrong when the arm was lost. It's the fact that her fiance just went cold turkey and just did not ever come back to her. It's like he ghosted and they never existed as an item. Even though he was dead, he was going to propose that night.
that is actually something. You bring up some really, really good points, and that is some stuff to talk about for sure.
Because one character is like, "Oh, well, because you lost your arm." No, she would be like, "I would sacrifice my other arm if I could get everything. I would sacrifice every limb to get everything else back. To get back my husband and my miscarried child." She cares about those way more. It kind of happens to you when you get shrapnel, an explosion inside your gut.
A lot of stuff goes on.
Yes. So all in all, I don't know. I don't want it to be like, oh, this is just secondary stuff and unimportant to the character that you might as well have never taken the arm at all. But I guess I just want to show that deep down, the victim of all this war doesn't really matter. There is of dangerous war has no. There is a byline where everybody, no matter where you stand politically, wealth-wise, gender, skin color, sexuality. There's this whole big. I know for a lot of people that the big Venn diagram circles where it's like everybody where things intersect. This circle all intersects in a one place called affected by an explosion, and everybody gets hurt, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say is that, it doesn't matter. War wants to ruin your life too. And that's kind of the point, is that you have all these characters with all these different backgrounds, and war just ruins everybody, makes everybody's life worse.
All right, give me just a moment, Dan, and we can talk more about your character. So, I'm going. It is it's a few minutes past the hour, and so I wanted to wait a little bit to see if for any stragglers coming in, and we'll welcome any stragglers who do. But this is the Disability in Fiction workshop, where we focus on your disabled characters in novel writing or perhaps even comic strips. And we do have a sister workshop on Script Camp where we discuss screenwriting. But we can still discuss some screenwriting in here if no one has any novel writing. So this is about talking about disabilities, and everyone's experiences are unique. It is the one minority that you can become, that you can join in an instant. Anyone, anywhere can instantly be disabled, and it is throughout the world, all economic statuses, all societies, and so disability is something that tends to be misrepresented in media, and that is our goal, to show it properly. Yeah. At any time, if things get a bit too heavy, we do want to be open to discussing sensitive topics, and um, um, uh, things can get kind of heavy. So if you ever need to, you're welcome to step out. Don't even need to say anything. Um, so we were just talking with Dan about uh, uh, his story. I believe her name is Geraldine, right?
Jermaine.
Jermaine. Jermaine. Sorry, I knew it was a G name. I got that part.
Yep. Jermaine Aldrich. Sounds up like almost like a pilot type name, which is what I'm going for because it's a futuristic world, and she was a basically her backstory is that she was a she's in a situation where she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life anymore because the thing she wanted to do with her life is lost forever. So she's like a character who's already gone through an arc and lost.
Okay.
She had the thing. She had the loving fiance who was going to propose to her that night. She had a child that was due in she was in third trimester and she was just ready to be excited to live a life as a nice family. And then everything falls apart when during what is deemed to be a terrorist attack at a party, killing her, which tears her arm out of her head, tears her arm out of it, I guess out of the socket. Kills the child, and while we think that he just decides to ghost her because she's broken, in truth he's like, I've got there are people who are after me and are going through my loved ones, so I'm going to love nobody. His mindset, which is a pretty bad mindset, but you can kind of understand where he's coming from with that. It's kind of like, this is why this is why Batman and Spider-Man keep a secret identity.
So, is her husband actually a target?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, yes, he is actually a target because he goes around and fights the quote unquote bad guys.
So, regardless of his reasons for leaving, her response would probably be the same and be absolutely devastated.
She is, and it's been years, and yet she still can't get over it because she's kind of lost, I guess, because of how traumatic losing something like that is. You could be decades, and you still will never you can still never come to the terms with the loss of a child. Outliving a child, even if the child is not yet born. I don't care what you know what, and no, please do not bring up the abortion debate. That does not belong in this, what I'm talking about, because that really has nothing to do with this. That thing was ready to pop out. That child was in a situation where it could have popped out at any point and been fine.
Yes, the death of a child is major and absolutely affects people throughout their lives. For sure. I do know someone who the baby died within a day after being born, and I knew the father, and he was devastated for actually a couple years. But he was able to move on and find his joy in life again. It took a few years. And him going back on his grief or talking about it, he is able to talk about it a bit more. But the devastation of losing his baby in the first day, it absolutely 100% does have a huge effect. But it's also, people do move on. People have to move on at least years later. So how long is it after this
3.
event that we are, how many years after this event
3.
does the story take place?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. All right. So she lost her baby, she lost her husband, and she lost her arm.
Correct.
Mm,
Well,
okay.
her husband is still alive. He didn't technically lose him. He just decided.
Well, if he's gone,
He's gone from her life. Yes.
he's gone. So he's lost. He doesn't matter if he's dead or alive. He's gone. Would have been better to be dead, but even more trauma. All right. So what is she doing now? What is her role in the story now, modern day?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, actually. She's kind of just wants to go with the flight because she wants to join because she wants answers. See, according to what she knows, she doesn't know it, but he's been framed as betraying his original team, framed to betray his original team. So as far as she knows, her betrothed betrayed the space dogs, was taken prisoner by the enemy forces, and as far as what they've sent as a threat, she is seeing his corpse. It's a staged corpse where they say this is the fate of traitors, and the villain team has actually she's like, I don't believe this. Part of her is like, I know him too well. He may have ghosted me, but he would never betray. So she wants answers, and that's why she wants to go on this mission.
Okay. Okay. And how does her disability play into her character?
That's what I was concerned about this whole time. It kind of plays in very minorly. It's the loss of everything else that she's like, I would say, which makes her say, I don't care about the loss of this arm. You know how that's how parents would be. They sacrifice everything.
That is true. That is true to a
Because
point.
I am one, I don't know what that's like, but I can imagine. But you can imagine it.
However, like the issues with the husband and the grief, the loss of the baby, all of that would be emotional baggage. All of that would be felt internally. However, her disability, her arm, would be physical. It would affect nearly every decision she makes. It would affect how she does her day-to-day life, how she interacts with the world. So even though her more emotional trauma might be with the husband and with the baby, her physical part would still be heavily affected.
Correct. Again, I'm not trying to that's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm worrying about. Downplaying it too much, especially.
Okay. So
I think I've got a legitimate concern with that too.
Okay. So what kind of all right, so you said like an arm gets blown off? Is it
Yes.
one both arms?
Just one.
All right, so one arm, and you said like she gets a bionic or cybernetic or some.
Yes, a bionic nanotech arm that's fully responsive.
Okay, so with any kind of a prosthetic, no matter what kind or adaptive anything, there's going to be some kind of setbacks. So, what kind of
I have had it to a point where there are times where it will creak, it will fail to work. There's one guy who's like, is it creaking? I can give it a little bit of a tune-up.
that's very important.
And I'm not sure how I want her to react. She might want to react like, thank you, but I don't want to feel defeated over this aspect. You know? I don't want to feel like a burden. I guess I'm not even sure if that's even the right term.
Yes, that absolutely 100% happens, and that is that is 100% realistic, and is a major negative as to why people with disabilities do not get the help that they need. They're afraid to be a burden. They're afraid to put other people out. They think they can handle it on their own. When in reality, they do need help. It is so that is a very much natural thing. And the important thing, one of the important things is all prosthetics and such need maintenance and upkeep. Now, this is something, if it's been years, if she's had this for years, then she knows how to maintain it. She would know about any kind of creaking or anything. She, if this is a new prosthetic, she wouldn't know, and she would have to learn about how it can break down and the disadvantages. But in the but if she's had it for a long time, she's been either having to go and get it maintained or maintaining it herself. An interesting thing about prosthetics and residual limbs, they change throughout the day. The limb itself will change throughout the day, and so the prosthetic limbs often need to be removed and readjusted many times throughout the day.
Right. There's one point where she actually breaks down and she goes to the hospital, not because of her, but because after the betrayal attempt, one of the members survives and is bedridden because their ship was sabotaged and they were just barely survived and were found and rescued from space. So they're in a hospital and she's like, tell me the truth. But the surviving member won't tell her anything. So because it's a prosthetic and metal arm, she grabs this person's neck in a fit of rage, and nobody can get her to let go because it's made of like this super titanium, futuristic steel. Except for one character who fortunately has the right tool on hand to disable the arm for a second. So this is I guess, I don't know if that's a limitation, but it's an attribute of it.
Okay. Sounds intriguing, and I'm glad to see there's a bit of balance of dealing with the maintenance issue. That's good. Um, so what I guess what role does she play in the bigger picture? Bigger picture, like how does
That's what I'm struggling with, honestly. And I hate to think that it might come to a point where I have to kill your babies, so to speak. No pun intended. I'd hate to have to get rid of this character because it's not just diversity for diversity's sake. This is actually, she is a very thematic character.
I think that she does showcase, kind of the horrors of war or collateral damage of war, and I do like that, but she does need a lot more of a purpose.
Yeah.
Right now,
I'll problem with all my characters, honestly. As I'm rewriting it, I'm like, okay, a lot of the characters were kind of just there, and I need to really make them be more than just there.
I have the same kind of problems. So she gets outside of her husband. Like, I feel like I know more about her husband than I know about her.
Well,
after
the accident, she was slated to be a major pilot, but
okay,
she was given the ability to become, but so she has decided that she doesn't really want to go and fly so much, but she decided she would be an instructor since she was a grade A ace potential pupil until that moment. So she decided. So the major who she was working under said, "You could still It would be a shame to put you to if you do not want to fly. At least let me make you an instructor. At least let me hire you as an instructor."
All right, this is good. This is really, really good. By the way, hi Joel. Hope you're having fun. He may not be able to join us, but he's here to listen. All right, this is really, really good. Her being a pilot is something more or less that is uniquely her. Not, of course, there are other pilots and such, but being a pilot is something. Is this something that she enjoys? Like, did she enjoy flying before all of this happens?
She did. She did because at first, what she did, she came into it because she was she was like one of those at first typical fangirls of this young strapping pilot, this ladies' man pilot that she's like the ascended fangirl who won over his heart.
Okay. I definitely think that you should lean into the pilot business. Like, that can give her stuff to do. Now her disability may affect her piloting, may affect her her abilities such, but being a pilot, that can help to make her more active and not just feel like trauma dumping.
Trauma dumping? That's a new term.
It kind of feels like it because so much is happening to her.
Well, that's what I know. I mean, I've never heard of the term trauma dumping. What does that mean?
I don't think that's necessarily accurate to this. trauma dumping, I think, is more discussing your own issues and preoccupied with your own issues, and spending a lot of time, well, dumping your trauma. And it is good for people to talk and to discuss their traumas, but there is a time and a place.
Right. And I don't think
but-
she does that.
So
It's-
I think that adding the piloting is kind of one of the keys that is needed to give her agency outside of just being somebody's wife, outside of being a mother longing for her child, outside of being a
well, I think that's the arc. What I'm going for is her letting go of that.
she never was that to begin with. She was a person. She was a
She was a person before she was broken.
she was a person after she was broken too.
Well, I know, but she had she had goals and dreams. I mean, she was a person with goals and dreams before she broke.
Right. So I want to cling to the pilot. The other stuff is going to affect her mental state, her reasoning, her physical abilities. But being a pilot can very well be her vehicle. How would you say? Her vehicle of agency.
Right. All right. I'll think on that a lot because I think that's a good idea. I'll lean into her her love of how she used to love flying in the sky and just doing the thrills.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much. It's a lot to think about, and I hadn't considered leaning into that. I had been leaning into the whole. She wants to get over. She just goes day by day, kind of almost zombie-like.
That does happen, but if that is still going on for years later, then there's other issues. And if that persists for years, then it's a whole lot harder to dig out of it, and kind of can't dig out of it. But anyway, I love the pilot angle with the baggage, with the baggage of her other issues. I like that. Right. Just want to open up the floor. I wanted to read real quick what Joel said. He said, joining in late and can only catch the odd word, but I think that Willow is saying that even after incident occurs, she would still have hopes and dreams.
She still has those hopes and dreams, but I think part of it is that she feels like she doesn't deserve to act on them.
Very possibly. Like, that gets into stuff a whole lot deeper, and she's not the main character, or she is a side character, right? Like how much of a character? She's not the protagonist, am I right?
She is not.
Is she someone who would have a lot of screen time and like character arc development time? Does she, if she's a major role?
I don't know if she does. In older versions, she had a bit, sure, but a little bit more screen time, sure. But then other things started happening. Then everyone was like, "You're jumping." But then a lot of readers were like, "I don't care about anything because you're jumping away from the main character in your pilot episode way too much to all these other side stories." So I'd hate to put this character in the background in the first episode. I'd hate to put a lot of characters in the background.
Yeah, that is that's kind of, I don't know, one comes of a pilot, and definitely the trauma can be brought up more at a later time. However, since she is not the main character, we're not going to be focusing on her like primarily. Then certain issues, the emotional issues, like uh, the internalized ableism, um, I feel like that may be a bit too deep for this, for her character. If she was the main character and this was going to be a huge part of her arc, then possibly yes, that I would say it's really important. That's a great one. But I feel like hers is more action driven.
Yeah, but I don't want to make it a throw. I'm just worried that this is going to seem like a throwaway character, which is what I do not want to do.
She's, as long as she is active, as long as she is as long as she is moving her story forward, as long as she is making decisions for herself or decisions that impact her, then she be a fine character. If other characters are making decisions that impact her and she has no voice in it and she's just being dragged along by other characters, that's when the character becomes a bit more throwaway. So, and yes, even side characters can have agency. Lasagna. I'm sorry. Fairy shrimp. Fairy shrimp. I have to relearn all these names. Were you saying something?
No.
Oh, sorry. I saw your green bubble light up.
Mm.
Do you have any thoughts?
My thoughts were like yours. While he was talking about it, I was sort of thinking about if Jermaine had anything of her own, aside from dedicating herself to her unborn child and her husband. I guess that's what I was thinking. But y'all talked about that, so.
Yeah, I was afraid that is a fear I had. That's like, this is a one-note character whose satellites off of everyone else.
Well, I think that being a pilot, like a love of pilot, regaining being a pilot, that in itself can help a lot with that.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
So, all right. Does anybody else have anything want to add? No? Samar, welcome. Welcome. So Samar, we were just talking with Dan about one of his characters. No one else has anything particular to share at the moment. Is there anything that you would like to discuss, or would you like to tell us a little bit about what you're writing?
Hello?
Oh, hi. Yes, we hear you.
Hi. Okay, we can start discussing anything that you want. I'm listening.
You're listening. You you don't have to share if you want. Uh we were just discussing one of Dan's characters in his story.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would like to discuss uh, any of your characters, if not, we can do a activity. You do not have to feel compelled to share if you don't. But if you do have something that you would want to share or discuss, you're welcome to.
Well, thank you. Maybe it's a thing that can be something very interesting, but I've been working on my script, making new drafts to upgrade or making updates. I don't know if it's the thing that I can share, but I'm very glad that I made the updates. Maybe it's not relevant, but it's okay that I have experienced this.
Is this something that you would like to share or discuss at all?
Okay, if I can talk about the script that I'm writing.
Okay, sure. Let's hear.
Okay, the story talks about two mentally disordered boy and girl. They start to love each other, but they get diagnosed by erotomanic delusion, which is love delusions when someone thinks that there's someone who is in love with him. Well, it's not true. I didn't want to share that the truth of the final part of the story is that there's going to be a true love while they were mistakenly diagnosed by love delusions. Thing that I feel can be interesting. So that's my script in general.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Um. Um. Can you tell me more about the boy and the girl? Uh, what kind of mental disorders, or how did that affect them?
Okay, the boy have been suffering from ADHD and autism when he was a child. The thing is, he was getting therapy and from medications and electroconvulsive therapy, which is electricity impulsive, and it's not a good thing to be arranged for a child. Um, Giving ACT sessions for children is not a good thing. So when he grew up, uh, while electric impulses that affected his memory since he was a child, when he grew up, when he grows up, he starts to recall some events and he remembers how he suffered from having mental episodes of dizziness or having a lot of energy and remembers how his mom was trying to treat him. I think which is also associated to ADHD is that it's not good to give children some junk food like chips or biscuits, things like that. And he was, as any child, was in love with these things. So his mom was trying to give him other replacements like juice or milk. There's some things about the boy. It's called Ahmed. It's like making the story uh, in some kind of Middle East region. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. While the girl is called Marwa. Um,
didn't have any serious mental illness since she was a child, while she has experienced psychosis when she was at high school. The thing is, the boy and the girl are meeting each other when they were at high school and start to develop the feelings of love properly. Probably the psychosis develops in the period of early teenage, from 17 years old and so on. What else? The thing is something new, like adding new scenes to the script to give some enjoyment to the audience, is that there were some conflicts between their families. Marwa's father made problems to Ahmed's father, and the parents refused to make the boy and the girl love each other or be engaged. These are some things about the script. I hope I'm not boring.
No, not definitely not boring. Very
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right, so get this straight. It's a so the boy and the girl they fall in love. It's like a forbidden love that their parents allowed them to be together.
Yeah.
All right, that. So, one low correction. The ADHD and the autism in the boy, he would continue to have those as an adult, and one of the side effects of the electro
Convulsive therapy.
right
Mm.
ends up being, it doesn't get rid of the problem, but it if people mask all the more, and so he would likely hide his autistic and other tendencies from those who would he, he would hide those kind of things. He would still have them, they would still exist.
Yeah,
He would be
that's
more ashamed of them, and he would hide them.
but the thing is that the symptoms have been somewhat solved because he got therapy since he was a child. But I just say some of them are already present, but deep inside he can't recall the same symptoms again.
For the symptoms, they never went away. They never ever went away, no matter how much the therapy or whatnot. They have always been there. They will
Yeah, they are
always
hidden.
be there. What would change is what he is willing to show to others.
Yeah.
So his family, he's probably going to more hide his autistic tendencies. And he may hide them from the public. But if there is something he someone he trusts, a deep trust, like the girl, that
Yeah.
is when he is more likely to show his true self, and for her to love him as his true self that nobody else sees.
Yeah.
So I think it's that can be a really beautiful story. Just a reminder that the autistic tendencies, they don't go away. They never go away, but they can be hidden just to make other people happy.
The thing is in the story that it shed a light on the thing of how our emotions can be denied. However, every process of healing or even trying to get these thoughts and feelings away from the person, it's not very good to make people get rid of emotions that they feel they are true. Not necessarily it's true when we try to make them forget these feelings. Sometimes it can be true. Maybe something like that. I hope I can clarify well.
Yes, kind of. What, at least what I've seen happen in the real world is people mask so much to the point they can't tell the difference between what is their real identity and what is their masking identity.
Yeah.
And that becomes blurred. It's kind of a unconscious defense mechanism.
Yeah, kind of.
So I do love the having an autistic character finding love. I think that's great. And the girl, she has similar issues, at least family wise. Well, right?
Yeah. I'm glad that you like it.
Yeah. I'm answering. How much have you written on this?
Maybe I don't remember really, but can say 1 month. I was very busy with a lot of things, so I was getting some time and opening my lap and trying to write some paragraphs. Um, maybe every week, 1 to 2 times. Can say 1 month, but actually it was very low qualified script in the start. I'm trying to improve it, and I'm really very happy that I'm making progress.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's great. It can be hard to find time to write, but it's great that you're still working on it. So yeah, keep going.
Thank you. So
And
you would like to share something?
I don't have anything for me to share at the moment. I do perhaps have a writing exercise we can do, or something. But the Virial, hi. I saw you come in. How are you doing?
Good.
Awesome. So we were just sharing some of our characters and works. Is there is there anything that you would like to discuss or talk about? Anything that you're working on?
I do have a story that I'm working on where it's like I'm trying to see I can make it like into a comic. Um, I have like 5 chapters outlined, like just typed, and I have another like see it's all on my Word document, and I have another one where it's like just a few sentences each of like for example the first I would say season or 2 of my story, because my story I call it Clinic of Genesis, and like it's just about this girl who somehow stumble upon this facility where she will find out it's a giant enormous clinic for people who have supernatural abilities. But the thing is that the people or the patients who are there, they're all like neurodivergent in a way, but with supernatural abilities with that too.
I
Okay.
like it. I like the genre in general. I'm interested in clinical psychology because it's the field that I'm studying, and I like the topic.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look at I might look at it again of because well first I have one character who's basically me who like the patients they're all gonna be wearing types of like animal masks because like whenever they use their supernatural abilities it just kind of messes with their appearance where they might some of them or almost all of them might get taller and wear these animal masks, but I'm so one of my characters he like I said he's basically me because he has Tourette syndrome like how I do. And so like I try to think about like the way how I have experience with it, I try to think of it as like a supernatural ability. And all I can and I even though there's more to it that I can think of, here's like a some points of how I see it, like with Tourette's, like teleportation, speed, distortion, all that, like as like a ability as a power. And I might have one character who he's like a rare case because like he's a guy but he has hysteria. And I have one other character who's the cousin of my Tress character, but she has autism.
Uh, guy in my script also have had ADHD and autism when he was a child.
hmm And I have like another character who has DID or basically multiple personality disorder.
Mhm.
And like and like so I might have to get back to writing this, but basically like she goes into like this clinic and like like she only went in there because like her car broke down and she was looking for like a gas station and it was raining so she ran in not knowing what was in there. And like basically like the pitch that I have for this story is like Undertale meets Poppy Playtime, because I see it where like she meets the characters like that of how like the character from Undertale meets like for example Sans the skeleton wing, but she's mostly gonna have to fight her way through because the patients who are there they kind of know how to fight. And not only that, it almost kind of feels like a prison in there because there's this doctor who who he's like governing them in a way. He's like not only that he kind of like experiments on them because he's like curious about their abilities and wants to make his own in a way, like to inject himself with. Almost like maybe his goal is like trying to take over the world or something in a way.
Right. While you were describing the scenes, I felt that it's unique.
Mm-hmm.
This is very interesting. I got questions and kind of more from a personal side.
I'll try to see if I can answer them.
This is the first I've heard of someone wanting to include someone with Tourette's in their story, and that is something that I've wanted to include in mine, and so I've been doing like research on Tourette's and such, and like following YouTubers and such, and
Mm-hmm.
I find um, I'm kind of interested in your I guess your thoughts, or like what kind of a thing would you want to see from a character with Tourette's on uh in media, definitely compared to how they or has there been an accurate portrayal of it in media?
Not that I know of. The only accuracy is when people like somehow video people with actual Tourette's like just posted. Like I know that there's that Tourette's guy on YouTube, but like so there's this show. I just the moment I found out about it was already over. It's by on YouTube Mondo Media, and and their show is called Dick Figures. And I know how it sounds, but they're actually all just stick figures. There's this one character who he's green, and he acts like one of those ballad like medieval characters with a high pitched voice, who who does the songs and all that. He's known as Lord Tourette's, and so obviously I wouldn't use that as an example. I could be frank. So like so far there I haven't come across an actual like show or where they give out accuracy of threads. All they ever do is like do like tropes or stereotypical stuff, like almost like making fun of the disorder. Because what I'm gonna do is like if I was gonna do like a backstory of my character, or actually I will, he's gonna like it's like my show background of like his experience with like when people like look like sorry, hold on. Um like here's an example here. Because back when I was in school, I was used to like trying to hold back my treads, and whenever I would tick, I would look back behind me to see if anyone else saw me tick or whatever. So there's like paranoia with that, and then whenever people did catch me, they would laugh. And then there was always those bullies who would try to copy or mimic the things that I do. Like if I were constantly moving my hand in a specific way, they would mimic what I did at the same time laughing. Um, I am one of the, I guess it's now considered 20% of people with Tourette's who does shout out words. Uh, you don't really, so you're not really hearing me say doing that right now because I am taking a bit of medication for that. And like for my Tourette's, but a little bit of me has to like control myself. But even so, like even though I had struggled with all this, mine is actually considered a mild case compared to like people who can barely control it.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I find it all extremely fascinating. Not really in a good way to hear about the bullying, but not surprised in the least. I don't know, like I I don't know whether it's true or not. Like DID seems to be like one of the most misrepresented things. Tourette's feels like it's one of the most mocked. Um
Yeah, because like the way we show ourselves. Like even though you try not to, it's like it's kind of hard like not to laugh. Like people whenever they see people with Tourette's, the way how they tick and stuff. I can't blame them because even though we try our best not to control it, but in the end when our ticks come out and people know, even though there are people who know that we have Tourette's, it just can't help but laugh given like what we kind of how our faces just twitches and stuff.
So I'm just a question. Is it kind of impulsive, like I guess the way I kind of see it, and I don't know if it's right or wrong. Like it seems kind of like a involuntary thing, like hiccups, like some kind of a muscle spasm, like a hiccup. Is that accurate or inaccurate?
Let's see. I don't know if I fully understand how you meant by that. Well, I don't know. Like, well, can you explain to me a little bit more because so I can try to understand a little bit, if you can.
Well, a hiccup is I know it has to do with the diaphragm, and it isn't completely involuntary thing. You can't control it. You can suppress it, but it makes it all the bigger when it comes out.
Oh.
Oh
yeah. So
now
yeah, and so here's the example here. What happens to me every time or every day? Let's say I'm thinking about something just normally. Next thing you know, out of the blue, a thought or a word pops into my head, which has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It could be the opposite of what I'm talking about, or something random, and which is not really a good thought or a word, depending on what it is. Like, and whenever that comes out, I can't help but try to like correct it, like an OCD type of way. Actually, OCD is part of kind of comes with it too. But like whenever that thought or word pops into my head, it's like it's so hard like not to correct yourself by almost shouting out or like doing like um specific twitching or like movements. Like it's kind of hard like not to do that whenever like that pops into your head and stuff.
all right, very very interesting. Thank you. Like I think it's awesome showing, I don't know, shedding a light on something that is so badly misrepresented. I'm curious about your character. Uh,
Yeah, so my character, some of my characters, or that I might be able to know, were the mask and the clothes that they're gonna be wearing. I'm gonna, like for example, one of my main characters who has Tourette's, um, his clothes is gonna be almost like fully teal, but but there are some parts where it's like more green and other parts more blue. Because the thing is that the Tourette's awareness, the color is teal. When I looked it up, like of the color teal, there's like I found like there's two different types of teals, like one that's more blue and one that's more green. But so I just got them together, and I might put in some other colors, which might represents like ADD or ADHD, because I kind of have that also. There's my character, his cousin. I looked it up, like of symptoms of autism, because his cousin has that. One of them, like I don't know that much about autism, obviously, but I am looking up just to understand. But one of the things that I did put down for my character, because I am doing a little bit of a comic right now, it's a little bit of a test of a comic that I can try to do on a piece of paper in a way, where whenever she talks, she kind of like stutters a little bit. There's that, because there might be more to it. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but like I've so like the main characters I have, the patients, there's Tourette's, autism, hysteria, DID, and there might be a few who have more than one. Like one of my characters, he might have schizophrenia, but also, like I said, my characters, they're gonna be, whenever they use their abilities, it kind of messes with their forms or their appearance. Like they might be taller or more muscular depending on it, and not only that, they're gonna be wearing like animal masks. Like because my main character who has Tourette's, I call him the distorted lamb because his mask is that of a lamb. My other character who has hysteria, he's gonna be known as the hysterical cat. And the one with DID, I call him multitude because he has like multiple like people inside of him because he has DID. And so I might have to think about this for some other characters because I have one character who has like it's not like a neurodivergent thing, but I might change it to neurodivergent or maybe add to it. But basically this character has like cancer and I call her the shattered spider. And let's see. Oh, and also the character who has schizophrenia, but I might also give him PTSD. He'd be known as the Broken Hunter.
Okay. Okay.
And also because
Okay.
sorry, like how I've seen like people with autism, they can be very bright on like depending on what their interest is because they might know a lot of what it is that they're interested with. So like my character who has autism, I call her the Bright Bunny. Well, that's their code name.
Okay. All right. So I just want to let's just take one character. Let's just take one character. We'll focus on the character with Tourette's. So
Okay.
these characters are more than what their diagnosis and their issues are. Who is your character with Tourette's? Not who are they separate from Tourette's? Like what kind of interests do they have, or their family life? Their what do they enjoy? What are what's more about their personality?
You see, well, he's my character. He's kind of like neurodivergent, like because given like his backstory, where like because he's been trying to control his stress his whole life, he becomes secluded for himself, or like paranoid, introverted, and like it almost felt like a survival for him, like throughout his life, just trying to control everything until when he finally gets taken to like the facility where it becomes a legit survival guide because of this very evil doctor.
Okay, all that's fine. All that's fine. Um, but those are aspects of his personality. That is part of who he is. But I want to know what makes him a unique individual. So if you look at
Yeah.
all of us are writers. Every one of us. Um, some of us are disabled, some are not. But none of us are the same.
Mm-hmm.
None of us. So let's say in your story, if you've got two characters with Tourette's,
Yeah.
would they be different from each other? What makes him a unique person?
Oh.
Because Tourette's is not an identity,
Yeah, I
nor
know.
is
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I kind of got crazy with that. So, right, to be honest, right now I am typing I just started like so. Even though I typed like the outline of the chapters and stuff, I now just started like typing in like the characters of their backstory slash what it is about them. So So with my character, since like I said, he's like basically me. He's like almost has some of my attributes in a way. Like for example, like he might be artistic in a way. Um, like for me, if you were to ask me what my favorite color is, I don't have like a legit answer for that of what color because it's like I like all colors if you mix them correctly in a way.
Can I interject on this for a second?
Okay.
All characters should have an aspect of you in them.
Yeah.
Even your villains. Stuff like the character's favorite color, unless it's plot prevalent, don't really matter in the long scheme of things.
Yeah, that's basically true.
I think trying to write more about the Tourette's instead of trying to find a personality from which to start with it, or trying to find what the vessel of the character itself. And I think that's where you have, and I have to agree with the mindset that you got to find what the character is beyond that. What are their wants, dreams, and all those things?
Yeah. So right now I don't like I have like a lot of things typed of the story. It's just that one of the things that I actually don't have typed that I just instantly just it's funny because of all the things I typed for the story, there's one that I haven't typed, and that's like the personalities are like well, it's like the personalities are in my head, but whenever if I try to explain it, it just comes out either wrong or I don't have a full grasp of it. So I'm like now just typing it in.
Okay, that's good. I guess as long as you are working on and that's on your mind, I guess, is the important thing. But the disability isn't the entire personality. I guess that's the important thing.
Yeah, I know.
And the thing that we want to avoid, obviously. Pilot, you should be not server muted anymore. When we do that, usually it's to do with background noise. But yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'll let Willow. I'm here. If you want me to take over Willow, but I'm more than happy to let you. If you want to continue, I don't want to intrude or anything.
You are welcome to take over. But if you're still out and about or still busy.
No, I'm home now. Yeah. I will. We've been recording a session, and so and we'll upload it later on YouTube, and so I'll be the one editing it, and so I'll get to hear everything you said. But yeah, it's a shame I missed it in live and in I was going to say in person, not in person. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, let's open up the floor to anyone writing a disabled character. We can workshop it, and yeah. If not, I'm just out of interest. I want to see what you guys are talking about. In chat, not in chat this week. Sensitivity readers for anyone writes about DID. That'd be good if you can get them involved. It seems to me like DID is very much a topic we're discussing regularly at these workshops. It's what we will look at next week in our disability in screenwriting workshop on Script Camp, and yeah, because I know that it's talked about a lot and it's very very misrepresented. So yeah, I'm actually planning a workshop for that, which will be next week, assuming everything goes well. Some people get triggered hearing stories about mental illness. Yes, it is a very sensitive topic, and therefore people do get triggered.
Yeah, I think
I mean, there are different situations and different aspects of mental health
yeah.
that can Yeah, trigger
I think it
people.
gets a bit more triggered like whenever they don't look up their actual like sources to do the just like the not only to do it right, like to do it just like that, but they tend to like for example with DID, it's like they exaggerate like the person with it. Like for example that I guess a terrible one, Split.
Yeah.
And then not only that, people whenever they do have like a character with Tourette's, they basically it's like they're just mocking the people with that, like making them kind of like dumb. Because I remember, so like there's this character in like the story, the creepypasta story, and like there's this character named Tiki Toby. He has Tourette's, but when people make like a comic of these characters, whenever they have him, they always make him the stupid one because he has Tourette's. And I'm like, come on. Like, he doesn't have to be stupid like that.
Yeah, I think that happens with a lot of disabled characters as well. If they have a physical disability, that obviously must mean that it's mental and intellectual as well. That's sarcasm there.
Yeah, and it'd be cool, like,
but yeah, that's how the media presents it.
yeah, and like, it would be cool to have, like, main characters or, like, I guess, or if you want superheroes or whatever who have actual specific disabilities, like, then, like, them being, like, very, like, what's the word? I don't think OP is the right word. Like, I can't think of the word, but like basically like something that's not wrong with them. They're like perfect in a way, instead of them being like very um unperfect. I really can't think of the right words for this.
That's alright. Judea says, I get triggered by anxiety attack scenes, and after that we're both hyperventilating. It's only when it's accurate. I was watching a show that wasn't that good, but the anxiety attack scene felt too real. I love it. Yeah, I'm left breathless. That's a good pun. I assume you meant that literally, but it does have a double meaning. Yeah. Yeah, if there's no one else who wants us to workshop anything, we can do a brain fog. A writing prompt, that's what I'm looking for. That's the words I'm thinking of. Let's get my list of writing prompts. Are we feeling a picture prompt or a I don't know, scene description that you write about what are people feeling?
I personally find the picture prompts a bit easier than writing.
Sure, that's good because I don't have any text prompts, so I just had to come up with something on the spot. Let me go get something then. Now is the time when I remember I can't copy and paste from here. Sorry.
Pollock asked, script or novel. Either. I would say either would be fine. But this is WordCamp versus instead of script camp. So yes, you can do script, but kind of feel like maybe we ought to try novelistic a little
Prose
bit.
format.
And
And if you want to write, sorry, go on.
no, I'll be honest. I'm not sure if I can do this, but I'm gonna try. So love that meme.
Let's see. All right, I found one. Copy. If I can figure out how. Nope, that did not work.
Imagine you just hear a cricket right now because it's just silence.
Okay, I got it. It took me a while, but I got it. Upload failed. No, I don't got it, apparently. No, okay. Discord is determined that it will not post my image. Why? I have an image, it just refuses to be posted. I shouldn't done this. Actually, we don't have a forum channel there. That's fine, we don't need one for now. It is in disability chat, and, not disability chat, the chat for this voice channel. It gets confusing. And we will give you 10 to 15 minutes. And yeah, you can take this wherever you want. If you want to write a scene, you can. If you want to write a short story, you can. Make up the names, just, yeah. You can write prose, you can write, I was going to say you could write a comic. Maybe there's not enough time for that. But you know, you could, yeah, whatever form of media, and we will review it. We have about 30 seconds left. Armin, it's just in the chat where you typed just above, but we're going to stop in a few seconds.
Right.
All right,
Wait.
I think that is time up.
Hi, Armin.
Yeah, so if you guys want to share it, do so in the thread in disability chat, picture prompt with today's date. Alternatively, you can post it in this chat here. Whichever one works for you, I don't mind too much. And we will take it. I'm excited to see what what we've got so far, because that wasn't a lot of time. And which route you went down, whether you did a short story or a self-contained story, whether you wrote about, you focused on character, or you focused on appearance, or you focused on dialogue. I'm really interested to see, what sort of things you came up with. So yeah, now's your time to post. Probably if you don't want to share, that's okay. I mean, I would say you can share either way, whether it's good or it's bad. I mean, it's a workshop. We're here to review and to improve ultimately. That's alright, Gray. You can post whatever you have. That's right, Pollock. Don't worry. Just post it anyway in the thread or in the chat, and we can review it anyway. Gray, post what you have. Willow or spicy shrimp today. Post what you have. I don't think lasagna you wrote. Dan, Armin, who else is here? Nacho, if you wrote anything, and Samar. Time to post. Yeah, my brain was also fried. I think my brain would be tasty to eat. It's that fried. Was just that picture, Armin, just above. And if you haven't done it, don't worry about it. There's no additional anything. Yeah, I mean, time's up now. Actually, while we review other people's work, you can use that time to write, I guess. Come on, Willow. You're still typing back. Come on. Alright, let's read Gray's. Shoom. Okay, you're going to say something, Gray.
Okay. Shoom, whoosh. Where did it go? A blue sky, a spray of blonde hair, a burst of sunlight. Alien life detected! Fire! The nets around the trampoline wobble back and forth. Gripping
Okay,
story,
so-
what do you think?
I think I can see where you're going. Obviously, you joined late and you didn't have much time, but I think I can see where you're going. I guess this is a child's imagination and I played together, which is cool. Were you going to say something about that?
I had it. My mind is not going to grab onto things today. I believe, like, the point of these prompts, I haven't seen the other pictures, but I'm going to assume, like,
I think
we're,
this is the first time we've done a picture prompt.
Okay, great. Well, I assume part of the prompt was how to include, the young boy being a double amputee, it seems, and I assume you guys already talked about how to talk about that in writing? Or...
Kind of. I mean, that was just, it wasn't so much of a homework, like, use what you've learned, it's more of a practice, and we can learn through it rather than I don't know. But, yeah, the idea is just how to talk about disability, and I guess that's a root goal of it.
Oh,
But,
okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I can try to add on more so it's more than 2 pieces of dialogue and probably 4
Yeah.
sentences.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that'd be cool.
and thank you for reading it.
Yeah, thanks for reading it. But yeah. It's like, and it's like, Willow's gone down the same line as Taco. Willow or Spicy Shrimp? Oh, Willow, which do I call you today? So yeah, let's read this. Lights and sirens buzz and beep on the circular landing pad, announcing an incoming arrival. People crowd around, straining to watch who it will be. Particles materialize into the form of 13-year-old Maynette and her 4-year-old brother, Paul. But as they materialize, something seems wrong. Instead of standing, Maynette is sitting with only her knees, and Paul is missing his legs altogether. The crowd gasps in horror. Paul looks up to Maynette, voice cracking with fear. The trans matter ate my legs. The crowd screams in horror and run away in terror. Maynette stands up, laughing. All body parts normal. Paul also gets up, standing on his amputated thumbs. Hand in hand, the two siblings head to an ice cream stand as they laugh about their practical joke. Oh, I love that. Yeah, again, that's great. Because they're children, they're they're having fun, they're imagining they're being mischievous.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just decided to take it like into a sci-fi spaceship kind of thing instead of a trampoline.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I didn't specify that you have to, stick to a setting. And it's cool. It's funny that both you and Gray went in that sort of sci-fi theme.
That is funny.
But yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I mean, he seems, looking at the picture again, it seems like he was missing arms and legs. Yeah, I think so, yeah. He's missing arms and legs. Yeah. Grace says, I like how it maintains a sort of homey, casual tone while being sci-fi. Yeah.
Aw, you're sweet popcorn.
Who else? Pollock, did you get anything written? And Dan?
Working on.
Okay.
I'm trying, but I'm like, I don't know if this will sound right. So I'm like,
Well,
no.
I mean, that's part of the point. To be honest, it's about trying to make it sound good. And if it doesn't, don't worry, because I've given you 15 minutes, which isn't enough. You know. Public, if you want to post it anyway, just because why not? Yeah. Oh, popcorn. Oh yeah, popcorn made a good point. If we get messed up talking about disability, this is a place to do it. Where it's a safe place. It's a Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't actually write anything because I had writer's block. Yeah. Yeah, I'm tempted to just say, just send whatever you got because, yeah, just both of you send it in.
Feeling spicy today. Spicy shrimp.
Why, yes, I am.
I don't know if everyone here knows about shrimp camp, but if you don't, I hope you're enjoying this very out of context joke.
Yeah.
I not gonna lie, I love it all the more because for anyone who changed their name at Shrimp Camp, does not translate to WordCamp, so it has to be redone.
Yeah.
And so I love seeing the effort and the fun.
Yeah. Oh my God, just because we don't have much time left, just send it anyway. If it's got spelling errors, don't worry. If it's not a full story, don't worry. I don't really care.
All right. I'm going to still try.
All right.
We don't have much time? We have no time? Yeah, Pollock, don't worry about it. We'll read it anyway.
I wish I'm so used to the emojis that Script Camp has. I kind of miss some of the emojis. Like there's no this this pointing up. We need that emoji.
I thought we copied across from Script Camp. Like,
Oh, this is probably going to be our only for the day. There are more prompts in over on Shrimp Camp.
Yeah. And it seems like we will make a just because we finish in about 7 minutes. But from what we heard recently, it seems like more people want these kind of prompts. We haven't been doing them recently or since we started, so because I thought people would enjoy it. So, but yeah, I've been proved wrong. So we'll do more in the future, whenever we have time.
Yeah, that was definitely fun. And definitely a challenge in writing in a different format. Although,
yeah, I think most of us are used to screenplays because we've come over from skill camp. Oh, not skill camp, script camp, shrimp camp, whichever one you want to call it. Ooh, we've got a Dear Diary entry from Connor.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, this looks good. Any volunteers to read it? If not, I can read it.
Are you just any volunteers?
To read it?
Yeah, to read Pollock's
I'll
message.
read
Woo.
Cool.
it. Dear Diary, my mother brought a trampoline today. It was very nice and I got to jump on it, which was also very nice. My brother played on it for hours, giggling all the way until nightfall. Bless him, he's so sweet. I too played on it, jumping alongside my brother, watching him giggle with me. I enjoy his presence even if he's so much younger than me now. I do not know when it happened, but it did, and now I'm the older sister and he's the youngest one. So weird being a big girl. Certain things I'm not allowed to do, and yet so many things I am allowed to do. I can stay up as late as I want with little to no consequences, and my mind is brimming with so many thoughts and ideas that I've never had before. Did you know that I can drive now? I know, so weird. To think that just a week ago I was the little girl and he was the bigger boy. Now I'm the big girl and he's the little one. Makes me wonder if I'm okay actually, like maybe I hallucinated the whole thing, but that's absurd. No one ever mentioned a time where I thought I was a little girl. Maybe this is the absurdity, that I have memories of not growing up. Also, apparently I have something called Asperger's syndrome, a high-functioning form of autism. Certain behaviors that I thought were normal turned out not to be. I didn't think having a two-sided conversation with oneself was a form of autism. I thought everyone talked to themselves. Me too! What the fuck? Sorry.
I see what you're saying here. Yeah. Cool. I mean, technically I have written about disability. It's not the disability we were expecting, but it's disability. And yeah, it's cool that you've thought of a diary entry to do. That wasn't something I was expecting. And Gray, who has autism, says, you know Asperger's speech mannerisms, in my opinion. Yeah. And it seems like everyone's gone sci-fi route. Right. I guess that does make you nuts, but if you have Asperger's, then yeah.
That's how I fucking talk now. Ah!
The masking. Cruel world has whipped me into
What is-
masking.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
I still talk somewhat formally when I'm making posts online. It's just in
When I feel like kind of stressed or tense or I'm trying to like talk about something, I go like formal mode. I go complete formal mode.
yeah. Because, like, one, it seems like the best way to transfer information, and two, like, especially if you're, like, I don't know, upset or stressed or something, like, it seems like the best way to, not betray that? I don't know. But there's something that feels very safe about that, so I guess it's
Yeah,
we
it's pretty
default to.
cozy.
Yeah. Cozy formality. Use our fancy words.
And not only that, but have someone talk back. Yeah, I talk to myself like literally all the time, and it I contradict myself constantly. I'm like, you should do this thing. No, you shouldn't. What are you talking about? That's a terrible moral decision. Oh man. It's fun. It's fun, but it makes me freak out sometimes, like who is in there?
Yeah, him was subconscious.
Yep.
Damn. Post it.
Oh, sorry.
Post.
Hello, Dan.
Press send.
Oh.
Yeah. I make so many noises. subconsciously.
I think I do. I wouldn't remember.
If it's got typos, then don't worry. Just send it.
Just like, wait, that doesn't look right. I don't know why
It's fine, don't worry about it.
Perfectionist and something. Maybe it's
No one can. No, that's sounding harsh. I mean, everyone's is not a work of art because we had such little time. By design, it's going to be bad. Or not brilliant, at least. We're not aiming for works of art. My whole body snaps in half from cringe.
This is what I was sure I was portraying. It's not a long thing. It's just I didn't know if I was portraying something correctly. So I was like, no, I've been rewriting it for like, I know it's not a lot. You're like, how did you struggle with that little bit of writing?
It's hard sometimes. I will. Can I read it again? I like to read these now.
Yeah.
Sarah, 30, bounces up. Sorry. Sarah, 30, bounces upon the trampoline, holding her legless daughter, Liana, 6. Sarah smiles and laughs, but Liana doesn't. Sarah laughs louder. The child's bounce just has no vigor to it. Sarah frowns, her eyes scram silently. Feel joy, child. Where's your joy?
What I was trying to portray is that the child just joy left with her legs.
Oh, she seems. Never mind.
Okay.
And I thought this seems almost. I don't want it to seem too infantilized.
I wouldn't say it's intent. How would you describe it, guys? What do you feel when you read this?
It sort of feels like joy left with her legs. I feel like this kid would get used to it pretty fast because like they're like 2 or 3.
6.
Well, in the story,
Oh,
they're 6.
6. In the story, there's 6. Okay.
I think I would agree. Children are so resilient, and so like you might have heard the expression like children are made out of rubber, like they just bounce back up. So even a very severe injury, they would tend to bounce back up. Just because they're still learning to do so much at that age. They're just learning something else. It's not that big a deal. Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's bad or yeah.
All right, that's what I was debating. That's what I was worried about, that I wouldn't have done that, about doing it wrong per se.
But this is the place where we discuss exact kind of things. So it's actually good.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about. I wouldn't see it as getting it wrong. Though it's not amazing, no one's. You can't be a perfectionist at something that you've done this quickly. Writing takes a long time, so that's not. No, I'm not worried about that. Actually.
You're right.
Yeah, I think you've done. Given the time limit, you've done all right. I wouldn't punish yourself.
Does it seem in this situation to any of you guys that Liana has situational depression? Because kids can have depression.
Yeah.
They do. I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah, yeah, but like even really little kids, like sometimes
Even the little guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
like really little kids. I think it's more often situational for kids, but if something really
I
upsetting
mean,
happens,
you've heard stories about 10-year-old commit suicide.
yeah, it's a thing. So
yeah,
I'm looking up articles on how to help my child after amputation and like do research on common responses to this. So
Basically, I also didn't want to make the child seem unimportant, like it's just a vessel for the mother. Even though the mother in this case is the main character.
In those instances where like the 10-year-old commits suicide kind of thing, that does happen, but it's often there's an outside instigator, whether it be abuse or bullying or something. There's usually something external affecting them.
Yeah.
At least one thing that I've heard about, particularly like parents and kids, like Liana, this dynamic. Parents oftentimes have a harder time coping with a disability or an issue than a young child does. Young child adjusts much quicker. A parent can have a really hard time adjusting.
Absolutely. It's often a child to, again, I guess because of the way their brain works, that their brain is very, what's the term, elastic. That's not the right word. But, their brain is constantly changing until the age of, I think it's around puberty. No, the age of about 8, I think. Their brain is changing anyway. So it allows them and their lifestyles to be very fluid, and, change a lot. And so, yeah, most kids in the situation would get over it quite quickly, I think. Yeah, there would be a period of sadness and grief, but actually, it's so short that actually they'd probably still be in the hospital recovering from the physical injury.
I got you.
As we were talking about, according to this article I linked, age, personality, occupation, and support will affect someone's emotional reaction. And it does say, children and adolescents adapt to amputation more quickly generally, but face greater emotional challenges related to their identity, acceptance, and rejection. Then personality, obviously, occupation. A little kid doesn't really have an occupation yet, but just running around generally as little kids do, that would definitely then support. I'm assuming Liana definitely has support from friends and family. So, but yeah, I guess Jeff just definitely show these different facets and like what kind of support is helping, what isn't, what maybe some people would handle this the wrong way. Man,
Oh, sorry.
My brain is glued right now. I apologize. What were you gonna say, Jadea?
When I was looking at Dan's thing, I wouldn't say that the child is necessarily a vessel, but I would say that Sarah is trying her best to, she's focusing on her child's happiness in a way, just sort of wanting to make her child laugh, but her child isn't responding, so she laughs louder. Just to try to get something out of her child.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
All right.
It sort of doesn't seem like an age-appropriate way for Sarah to react. It seems like something maybe
Something happened.
someone like 10 to 20, like a teenager like might do, or someone who isn't 30. Because like from the perspective of empathizing, like that sort of thinking, oh, like if she just hears me laugh more and understands that she is supposed to laugh, she will laugh. But Sarah, being 30, and her mom would, like, I don't know, maybe pick her up and bounce around and be like, whoa, we're flying now, and just try different methods instead of trying to show her child to react differently.
Mm.
I think it doesn't have to do with the disability aspect. That's just more of a characterization thing.
Got it. All right.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, cool.
that was fun. That was a lot of
I'm
fun.
glad you enjoyed it. I will take part one day, so that we can because I think it's good to get practice. No matter how much practice you have, writing practice, and you can never really have too much. Yeah. This is having a fight, so I'm trying not to use that excuse, but yeah. Also didn't have my rent come into the house, so anyway, I'm not making excuses. Thank you all very much for coming, guys. It's been wonderful to have you here. I will get you the link. Oh, by the way, we did cancel our writers group for disabled writers. And the reason for that was A, we didn't have many people, but B, I think there was a lot of overlap between, the writers group and the workshop. It just felt like there was no need to have both at the same time. And so we decided that actually we would keep the role. So any writers who are disabled, you will still have a disabled writer's role. But I was going to say something. It's completely left my head. Oh, you'll still have a role. And when we get people to talk, like disabled people in the industry, for example, and we set up a one-off event with them, we will ping you then. So there won't be a regular group for you, but there will be one-off events that we will be organising and things. So, yeah. Thank you very much to Willow for hosting. I'm sure she did a brilliant job. And thank you for covering.
Yeah, anytime. It was fun.
I'm glad. I'm really glad. Make sure you join us next week at 4 p.m. British time, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Again, Saturdays we alternate between bootcamp and WordCamp. So we'll be focusing on screenwriting next week. And yeah, hope you guys all have a wonderful week. Thank you guys.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Joel. Bye.
Thank you guys.